Getting married was a great thing because it led me to this book. And of course it also meant now committing the rest of my life to this wonderful woman, but this book is pretty cool too. My wife and I use it every single week and it has become our go-to location, even ahead of BBC Good Food. What? In this video, I'll tell you exactly how it will save you time, and it's not just due to a shorter cook time, it's actually something else. And I'll also give you our top 3 favourite recipes, my favourite of which might surprise you. Let's dive in. Prepping food takes time, especially if you want to eat healthily. I cooked for myself throughout university using BBC Good Food as my main source for recipes, and it was great, but there was one issue. All the recipes I used at university required me to be present throughout the entire cooking process. For example, there's a recipe we always used to do called chicken and chorizo paella from BBC Good Food. It was lovely, but it required me to stand over the pan for 40 minutes straight, which is just time that I didn't really have. So ultimately, the 3 biggest reasons that Hannah and I love this book are because number 1, it reduces the time required to be present in the cooking process. Number 2, it reduces the amount of washing up you need to do because all you really use is a tray to cook in and then the chopping board and knife. And number 3, all cook times are 30 minutes or less with the recipes in this book. I'm not going to pretend like I've suddenly solved cooking by finding this tray bake recipe book. I'm sure you're all aware of what tray bakes are and their advantages. But in case it's not obvious, the biggest advantage of a tray bake is that you can chuck everything in the tray and leave it unattended for the majority of its cooking time, allowing you to clear up or maybe go and get some work done. I know I will often put a tray in the oven and then take Poppy out for a short walk. As a busy young professional, this is so useful. Plus, you can get quite a lot of food in a tray, which means that usually one set of cooking can probably last you for a few nights if you're batch cooking, or maybe you could use it in your lunch the next day. I know that's something that me and Hannah do all the time. Say hello to the people. Let me quickly take you through my 3 favourite recipes from this book, the last of which will be my favourite, and I'll give you the full recipe for that once we get there. So firstly, one for date night or really any special night. If you're in a relationship like me, it's very easy to let a night with your partner just pass you by like any other night. One way my wife Hannah and I like to make these evenings a little bit more special and trying to set them apart is by choosing to eat food that is a little bit more special, such as this delicious asparagus, pomegranate and pine nut tart. Sounds fancy. In fact, this book does actually have a whole section for date night foods to feel a little bit more special. Now, they are not massively complicated to make at all, but they just feel a bit more fancy. Secondly, a tasty fish recipe. My favourite fish by far is salmon. And one way to get salmon at a bit of a lower cost is to buy a bulk bag of frozen fillets. For example, this week we actually had some in the freezer from a previous time we cooked this recipe. One bag costs just £5.50, so it's about £1 a fillet, which is not too bad. This recipe can use fresh or frozen fillets and is also a super healthy recipe with loads of tasty greens. And I actually only just realised at the time of recording this that it's the recipe on the front of the book, so it's got to be good. And finally, by far mine and Hannah's favourite recipe is this. Roasted halloumi with aubergines. It might surprise you that this is our favourite, but it's due to the amazing flavours and incredible ease with which it is to make it. Let me very quickly take you through the recipe. Chop up your halloumi, aubergine, tomatoes and chuck them into a tray. Add some oil, oregano, garlic and chili flakes. Make sure to give it a good stir at this point and then rearrange it with the halloumi on top so that gets nice and browned. Put it in the oven for 20 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius or 220 degrees Celsius if you're not using a fan oven. Now once this time is up, you then need to scatter some pine nuts on top and put it back for another 10 minutes. I know, this slightly breaks my main selling point of being able to leave the tray unattended whilst it's cooking, but trust me, this recipe is so good it's worth it, and you literally only have to go and chuck some pine nuts on top and put it back in, so it's not a big deal. Finally, once it's out of the oven, stir through some chopped rocket, some lemon juice, and if you like a bit of sweetness, like we do, add some sweet chili sauce. There you go, pretty simple. We like to add some carbs to this meal, and my go-to option here is some homemade flatbreads, which is literally just a combo of flour and yogurt. Let me know if you want to know how to make these, as I'm sure I can make a little video explaining how to do this. So Hannah, out of all the recipe books that we own, what is your favourite meal that we do?
Wait, what was that question?
Out of all of our recipe books that we own, what is your favourite meal?
Probably the aubergine and halloumi tray bake. It's very good.
And there you have it. If you want super easy, tasty food and a bit of time back, then go and get this book. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to use that. You don't have to use my link if you don't want to. I think it'll just take you to Amazon. But yeah, I would strongly recommend this book to anyone really that I meet. If you enjoyed this video, food related video, I've made a video very recently all about my favourite breakfast of all time, overnight oats, and I'll put that up on the screen somewhere for you to click if you want to. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.